Welcome, Kjersti Flaa from Flaa Talk. I hope I said it right.
You did. The first name was perfect, and second name was a little off, but really.
By our 10th interview together, I will get it right. Kjersti.
Yeah, Kjersti was perfect, but Flaa, not Flaa.
Flaa.
Yeah,
Flaa.
Flaa.
Flaa. I'm gonna work really hard. We just had a great conversation over on your channel, so you guys make sure to check that out. Where we started talking about this. I mean, I only can describe this as a rage baiting article that came out on Friday night on Glamour magazine, and it was all about this hate campaign fueled by mommy sleuths against Blake Lively on Glamour magazine. So when did you first see this? What were your thoughts about it when you first read this article?
It was actually Magnus who sent it to me, my boyfriend, because he's helping me with research. Sometimes he's sending me tips.
Is he a mommy sleuth?
Totally. He's a daddy sleuth.
Such a daddy.
Dog daddy sleuth. So I read it, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is so horrific." He really reacted so strongly to it. And then at the same time, I was kind of looking at Instagram. You know, you're trying to find out as much as you can every morning. And then I saw your video, and I was like, Donna, yes, spot on. And I felt your frustration and anger. And I was like, oh my God, this makes me so angry. It really does.
I think, I mean, not to mention the first word the mommy sleuths of it all, when we talked about it, she said in her comment section, because she got really kind of taken down in the comment section on the Glamour post, but she said, it wasn't my words. It was Candace Owens' words. That's what Candace Owen has called her viewers, that they're just like mom sleuths. They're coming in with all the hot takes and they're DMing her. I found it to be interesting that she used that in the title for a few reasons. Number one, assuming that every single person that has said anything negative about Blake Lively is a mother is wild. There's so many men covering this case, and there's so many women that are not moms.
Yeah, like me. You know, I wonder if that's why she didn't mention me.
Oh, that is so interesting, because you would be top of mind in terms of someone covering this case. Hello?
Yeah, I know. I was actually a little surprised by that, but then I was like, oh,
She can't cover you because you're not a mom.
No. And
that's
dog
so
mom
wild.
Sleuths. Like,
I mean, where's my, I'm wearing my glasses, but I need my detective hat for this conversation.
Yeah.
So, and like a magnifying glass. I feel like we all need magnifying glasses now. Do you think, you know, and did she mention, so she didn't mention you at all, and did she link any of your videos?
No, she didn't.
You were completely, because one of my videos was linked, and she mentioned Ashley Brianna Eve by name. She quoted Ashley Eve, which was so weird and random. I don't even know if Ashley's a mom. I'm not sure. But she left out a huge portion of people that speak about Blake Lively in terms of, you know, I guess she doesn't talk about men, because so many men cover this case on a daily basis.
So
Dave Neal,
many.
Popcorn Planet, Andy, Zach Peter, Perez Hilton,
Dave Neal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so many, right?
Yeah.
So to just kind of erase, I think she's trying to erase men.
I think, you know what? I was asking Magnus, I was like, is this Stephanie woman? Is she married? Or are these just like angry, bitter women trying to attack other women because we actually believe men are good humans as well? Is that the agenda here? Because it feels like that. It's a lot of like this male hatred, I feel, which is so surprising to me. And I found out she is married.
I saw a wedding ring. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But she could have been married to a woman, so I don't know. Is she married to a man?
She's married to a man.
You mentioned something on your show that we just did, that like how easily this could be her husband in the same position. We don't know how easily a woman can blame a man for, or accuse a man of harassment in any case. Now, of course, you never think it's going to happen to you unless or until it does. Yeah. Right?
So if someone at her husband's work would accuse her husband of making them uncomfortable, she is saying that she would have to believe that woman without seeing any evidence whatsoever. And what would she do then? Would she leave her husband because she had to believe this other woman? I mean, that's what she's asking of people. Like, don't ever believe a man because, like you were saying, you're so honest about, I believe Blake in the beginning. I really believed her. But then, as an intelligent woman, you looked at the evidence and you were like, something's not adding up here. Actually, I don't believe her anymore because she doesn't have the receipts, and Justin Baldoni has the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, for actually doing research on your own and finding out that you have a different opinion that you first had, that they're saying that you're a woman hater for doing that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and going down the rabbit hole of like pushing women into a far right direction, because that's also what she said in that article. I was like, what?
There's one part of the article that I covered it in my TikTok and I put it on YouTube and stuff, everything. But this is the kind of the meat of the article. So she talks about, it starts with the whole, the Another Simple Favor premiere, and she like really kind of glosses over all of the drama. She glosses over the fact that this is literally one of the biggest Hollywood legal cases in, I would say maybe even bigger than Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, because it's taking huge Hollywood stars and the PR executives and the studios and everything, and it's such big money. Plus New York Times, like this may be bigger than Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That was just a marital situation gone wrong.
Yeah.
And she mentions like this is nothing out of the ordinary. This is just a normal premiere. Everything's fine except unless you're a content creator who's
Yeah.
really just trying to dig up anything wrong. So she's vilifying content creators right off the bat. Content creators are public enemy number one. So that was a little weird from the beginning. Then she says, I'm just going to say it. This isn't normal. And it's about more than just Blake Lively. Since hashtag #MeToo exploded into public consciousness in 2018, an online war has succeeded in erasing many of the gains made by the movement. If those against #MeToo can't stop famous women from speaking out against assault, abuse, or harassment, they can apparently slowly erode their credibility until they are pariahs. The target of such an unrelenting campaign of hate and misogyny that their public image is incurably damaged. The hardest part of this to swallow is that women, mostly civilians, are the ones falling deepest down this rabbit hole, being convinced by TikTok to turn onto one of their own. So you, myself, and so many other content creators and just normies, just, perusing the internet, are being indoctrinated essentially by the algorithm to believe something that we don't want to believe, but we are being forced to believe because we don't have a brain or the ability to think for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly. Like
strange,
that's the way a sexist would think,
right?
about women.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying about
Why do
us.
they think that women used to be able to have the ability to think for themselves, that we're independent, we're strong, we're amazing, we're wonderful, but now all of a sudden, because it's not exactly what they believe, we aren't.
So
It's
true.
interesting, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, but the only truth here is what they believe.
In fact, it doesn't feel very much like a free society. It feels a little bit like you have to think just like us, or you are wrong.
And you know what? I find it's so dirty that they're attacking us. We are all like on the same level here. We are just trying to make a living from being out there, talking about things that are interesting to us. And, we're not celebrities. We're not on that kind of level of power or fame. We're just regular women. And they're choosing to attack regular women, which I think is even a lot worse than actually, questioning people in power,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we're doing. We're
What's the
saying,
difference between a Stephanie McNeil writing for Glamour magazine, getting hired by a publication to sit and type scathing articles about variety of people? She's written about Bianca Censori. She's written about Julia Fox. She's written about Blake Lively and It Ends With Us and her disastrous marketing for the movie. She's written about a variety of women. huge amounts of women over the course of her career. I mean, the list is long. What's the difference? Is it because we're public facing, we put our face on camera? That's the difference. We're not typing, we're speaking. Why do we get a negative version? Is it because we didn't go to journalism school? Maybe you did. I don't know,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, no.
I mean, I came from the casting world, and I got a sociology degree from UC Santa Barbara. I guess that's not like good enough for her, but I'm not a journalist by trade. I just happen to like to speak, and I turn on a camera.
Yeah, no. I mean, I worked as a journalist for over 20 years. I
You
worked
have
for
a
all the
legitimate
major
career.
newspapers. I worked for all the magazines in Norway. You know, I had my byline in every outlet in Norway. I worked for TV shows. I've interviewed every celebrity out there. You know, and now I see some of these channels that are the pro Blake Lively channels. They're saying, like, they're calling me a journalist in quotes just because I don't share their opinion.
It's
They're
interesting.
like, oh, you're not a real journalist because you're opinionated about something, or you are. And I'm trying not to be too opinionated about anything, but I'm just like, these are the facts that I read, and this makes sense to me because of ABC. And they're like, no, you're not a real journalist. It's so dumb. It's like,
Stephanie McNeil also writes opinionated pieces. In fact, this entire piece is written in first person. She says,
yeah,
me, I feel, I don't think, it's not for me. It does, she's completely, she says, as time goes on, the creators who made a name for themselves by becoming experts, in quotes, in both cases are only growing more powerful and emboldened. It doesn't feel like an accident that the path they are leading their new followers down goes straight to the far right at a time when women's rights are as precarious as they've been in decades.
the
Okay.
thing is here, also, sorry if I interrupted
Mm-hmm.
you, but I am from Norway,
Uh-huh.
okay? I have a visa. I can't even vote in this country. I have no political agenda.
I don't ever feel like you do.
So it's like accusing us of something like that. Also, like you're saying, just because we don't agree with them, we are right wing women. Just
And
because we happen to have the same opinion about these facts that some right wing women have, then we're all in the same, they can't differentiate us and Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly because we all feel that Justin Baldoni has the receipts and we believe him over her, then we're far right. Like, it's
there's a
so.
there's a world where multiple people of multiple different backgrounds and political affiliations can all have the same opinion on a court case. Like there's a world in that fully. I don't use Blake Lively as my lead story on Daily Dose of Donna and then go into women's rights or abortion. Like I talk about Blake Lively and then I talk about Southern Charm. Like it's a very pop culture show. And so do you. Like you go from celebrity to celebrity. I could also say the same about Stephanie McNeil. She's talking about Blake Lively to talk about left wing agenda, right? Why
Yeah,
can't we say the same thing about her?
yeah,
It's the
exactly.
same.
And
If you're saying that about Candace or Megan, well, you can say the same thing about Glamour. She's
yeah,
the next article on Glamour is probably about, I don't know, something left wing agenda. That's what they do on Glamour.
yeah, no.
So what's the difference?
and and one of the things she mentioned in that article as well, which made me like, she said, we are all the creators are like nitpicking little details from Another Simple Favor premiere. Like, for
Yeah.
example, they're claiming that Paul Feig's wife was a fake fan. It was like, we're not claiming that. There is a picture of that. It's
Do they
like,
think it's AI?
I don't know.
Do we need
But
to
it's
do
like
like
we
facial
we
recognition?
we all saw the photo.
I
So it's like, we're
know.
not claiming that it is her. It is her. I
She
mean,
doesn't want to do the research or to give us any like sort of. So, okay. She frustrated a lot of us yesterday. I of course did a 10-minute long video. It could have been 45 minutes, but I had to cut it off at 10 minutes for TikTok. And I got a lot of responses. Then she decided to double down and speak on her Instagram. Now that Instagram post was directed at one thing. It was interesting because she came back, faced a camera, and she said, I wanted to address something that people have spoken back to me about. And I thought it was going to be about the fact that she completely left out the court case. and the evidence and, the facts of why people may not be on her side. She didn't. She focused on the money that creators are making versus the money she's making, which was wild because I hadn't seen a lot of comments about the money at all. In fact, I didn't see anyone make comments about money. I just saw people make comments about the fact that she was just completely ignoring the truth of why people were not on Blake Lively's side. She did this whole Instagram post. Since then, it's Sunday today. The Instagram post is now gone. She has deleted the Instagram post, but now she has gone to TikTok, exactly where she has claimed that, content creators are abusing the system and trying to make money for clicks and views. She posts a different video, but similar talking points on TikTok. Let's watch it together to hear what she has to say. This is her one clapback from that disastrous Glamour article on her
This is
TikTok.
interesting.
It's so wild. Hopefully, everyone can hear it. Here we go.
There's one really big misconception on the internet right now that I feel like I have to clear up about the difference between journalists who work for corporate media like I do and citizen journalists or content creators who cover pop culture on here. And that is who is actually making money off of these really big drama events that get blown up on TikTok, like the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni thing. So I'm a writer and editor at Glamour magazine. And I wrote an article yesterday about how the Blake Lively thing, the Justin Baldoni stuff has gone completely bananas on TikTok and Instagram. There are so many conspiracy theories. There are all of these creators who have jumped on the bandwagon, and they are saying that basically the corporate media is lying to you. There's all these ways that we can tell that Blake Lively is a bad person. They're analyzing all clips of her. They're doing lip reading. They're, diagnosing her with all these, mental illnesses. They're coming up with all of these conspiracy theories. And after I wrote about this, just kind of talking about the phenomenon, a lot of people got really angry and they said, well, you must be being paid by the CIA or paid by Ryan Reynolds to talk about this, or, we can't trust you because you're being paid about this. But, the citizen journalists on TikTok and Instagram, they're not being paid. We can trust them because we know that they don't answer to anyone. And they're just doing this out of pure, love of the truth or something. The exact opposite is the truth. Like, that is something that I really want to put out into the universe because it's really important. So I get paid if my story has to do with Blake Lively or not. I shouldn't have to say this. The CIA did not pay me to write about Blake Lively. The people who are making money off of this whole controversy are these content creators. They are taking a court case between two celebrities and turning it into a phenomenon that people are coming back to day after day after day. They are the ones making it into this extremely dramatic, conspiracy-laden situation, and the algorithm rewards it. It rewards them on Instagram. It rewards them on TikTok. It rewards them if they have a podcast, because what social media rewards are huge controversies and drama that keep people coming back. So the other thing is that, something doesn't happen every single day in this drama. And so they have to come up with more and more and more videos about it to keep the gravy train going, to keep people coming back. So if anyone's making money off of this, it's them. And that should make you question what their motivations are, because they are the ones that are getting rewarded for talking about this and for talking about it in a very dramatic way. It's just kind of scary to me to watch
crazy.
So many people, especially so many women, not understand that, and not understand that when you follow someone who, is saying all these things, like, they have a reason for doing it, and they're making money. Just my
Touche, Stephanie.
Just
That's
my
all
two cents that hopefully you pay me for here on TikTok.
Oh my God. But now I like, oh gosh, now I almost feel a little bit sorry for her because she's so like, I don't know, delusional. I hate
What?
when people are saying like accusing us of making money. It's like, um, everyone needs to make money to make a living. And
This
so
is
is
our
she.
career. This is our
Yeah.
job.
And the thing is, you all these different journalists, whatever. I've been, I've worked for women's magazines. I know how they work, how corrupt they are.
Hmm.
I know how they work. And for her to say that these women or these creators, they're getting paid and you're being fooled by them because they're getting paid, while journalists, we're also getting paid, but you should believe us. Like, why? Like,
You
I
don't
mean,
think that you're
the
trying to
journalists,
sell magazine covers or clicks and views as well?
the journalists that did the New York Times article, Megan Thuy, who won a Pulitzer Prize, she wrote a lie about me.
There you go.
Uh, you know, if there's anyone I would have trusted with the story, it's her. And
Yep.
that the fact that she actually made up a story about me to make people believe that I was involved in the alleged smear campaign, that is just like, first of all, she tarnished my reputation as a journalist. She took away credibility from me as my occupation and for me as a person as well. It was horrific.
Hmm.
And the fact that these women are now saying that all of us are out there just to make money on this because they are just why are they writing about it? Why is she a journalist? Not to make a living? I mean, it's
Just
just
obviously just to share the truth as well, I guess, for pro
yeah.
bono. You
Yeah.
know, it's like a nonprofit. Like she's just a truth teller as well. Here's the interesting thing, and this is what I said today in my TikTok that I just want everyone out there to think. If I was out there creating 10-minute long TikToks because I cared about the environment, and I was out there talking about how we need to stop using balloons or like stop with gases or doing more solar for whatever. I'm not like a big environment knowledgeable person, so this was probably not the best example to use. Like, I can probably think of better ones, but something that is like an altruistic, no negative situation, but really just like a well thought out reason. Would you still say that I was doing it just for the money? Why are you saying that? Because it's of this story. I do believe that this is a sexist argument. I do think that Glamour magazine, Stephanie McNeil, potentially Taylor Lorenz type women, and many of the pro Blake just to believe women just because there are women have an issue with men,
Yeah.
specifically men. Because if a man accused a woman of something horrendous, just because, are we going to always believe the accuser or the accused? We have to believe the truth. That's it. it's
Yeah.
it's it's really it turns into this like really messed up. I will never blindly believe anyone. I
No,
will
me
never
neither.
blindly believe anyone politically, gender, anything. And I think that's dangerous because then we're sheep.
I know. And the fact that she's saying that it's for people like us, the creators out there, we are destroying the Me Too movement. It's like, no, we're not. Blake Lively is the one that's doing that. She is the reason why women will now be scared to come forward because they're afraid they're not going to be believed because she lied.
I
They're not
got
going to be afraid to not be believed because Blake Lively wasn't believed because they know that she lied. And the women that are most upset about this, I say it over and over again, are women who have actually experienced abuse of some sort. The
I
victims, the real victims. And the real victims, these women never talk about that.
Yeah.
These journalists that are only concerned about the truth, they don't talk about these victims.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
Yeah.
never. I got one comment and then we'll wrap it up. But I got one comment yesterday on that rant on Instagram that I think is worthy of reading. And it's produced by Erin Billings. She commented on my Instagram. She is a producer for, she's a co host of a podcast called Girl Boss Red Flags. And she's a producer, I guess, of a stage recording type of music producer. Okay. She writes this: as someone who has filed a harassment lawsuit against an employer and has experienced Me Too firsthand, it would be different if Blake Lively had given evidence of actual harassment. People would get behind her if there was any truth to this, but her case is circumstantial at best, a total lie at worst. Women that have actually experienced SH and have worked in the industry can smell the bullshit on this story. That doesn't mean we're not allies to the feminist cause. It means we're truth tellers that don't want to see an entire movement torn down by entitled actresses that have gone unchecked for far too long. There you go.
Well said.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is who Glamour should stand by. Glamour should stand by the true victims of Me Too and not try to victimize people like us who are trying to stand by the truth.
Yeah. And the things and the way that they have attacked us, I like we talked about on my show too, I felt bullied throughout this, by other women.
Big time.
But they think that's justified because they are protecting a celebrity in power.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's
billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's been a very big roller coaster. It's gone up and down and it changes every week, like the public sentiment. So we'll have to see how this continues. But thank you so much for coming on to the show. And of course, you guys,
Donna.
for anyone that has not subscribed to Flossom Talk by Kjersti Flaa.
Yes! Donna, you did it!
Kjersti Flaa. She has an incredible channel and she has been steadfast, like consistent creator here. She's been speaking she's always just had such great content, but it's always really eye-opening to see what she is just kind of exposed in the industry. So make sure you guys go over and subscribe and then watch our first part of this video before you come on over here if you haven't already, but make sure to subscribe to both. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Donna, so much. Always good to see you.